midlife crisis looks like, my midlife crisis, or yours, or somebody you know. This video, I wanted to cover midlife crisis signs, symptoms, and warnings. I'm probably going to break this down into like 2 or 3 parts. So midlife crisis signs, midlife crisis warnings, midlife crisis symptoms. So basically it all comes down to midlife crisis symptoms, I think. So the reason I wanted to do this video is because it seems like a lot of people believe that when someone is going through a midlife crisis, they're having a great time, like this is the time of their life or something, just a whole lot of fun. The reality of that, however, is that if somebody hits a midlife crisis and they're going through a midlife crisis, they're actually suffering, especially inside. They're suffering. It's not a joyride at all. So I figured I would do a video on, midlife crisis symptoms, signs, warnings. And some people in a midlife crisis have a constant need for attention and compliments and stuff like that, because you really are so self-conscious all the time about what you look like, and getting the attention and the compliments kind of, I'd say maybe makes you feel like young, but at the very least has you forget how old you are, has you forget for a moment that you're aging. Another symptom of a midlife crisis would be quitting a career, flushing your career down the toilet, or changing careers. But I think changing careers is more of a midlife transition. I think that's something that's more planned out. But when you just drop a career, quit a job you've had for a long time, because all of a sudden it, doesn't give you any enjoyment anymore, where maybe you once did enjoy that job. But again, life becomes flat and flavorless, and that's kind of like a blaming again, so if your partner has just walked off a job, not even thinking about how it's going to impact everybody, or seemingly not caring how it's going to do, then your partner has blamed their career on the fact that they have no life enjoyment anymore. Kind of be happy about that. It means they're not blaming you. Another sign of somebody having a midlife crisis is a driving desire to run away, to take off, to leave, or at least get an extended break. Just to step away. A lot of people have talked about that, like, can I just leave and hit the reset button? And it's a driving desire. That was one that happened for me intensely so, and I couldn't stay because I had this overwhelming feeling that if I stayed, I would suffocate and die. It would kill me. I had to go. And it didn't even matter where I went. I just had to get out of there. I figured I'll figure it out as I go along. I just had to go. And things that once were important, when we're talking about detaching, things that once were important are no longer important. I had stuff, and for some reason, before I had a midlife crisis, a lot of this stuff I had valued. Otherwise I wouldn't have it, right? And when I hit my midlife crisis, I no longer valued any of it. I got rid of just about everything. I kept my computer and equipment, some clothes, and a few personal things, and everything else I gave away. And I felt like I kept too much, and I couldn't even fill a little bitty tiny Suzuki. Ha! I had a little teeny car, and you could have fit 2 other bodies in there besides mine. That's how little I took when I left. I got rid of everything. It had no value for me. It did nothing for me anymore. Some other things would be like drastic changes in someone's behaviors, their thinking, their feeling. They're having mood swings where they didn't before. And they're exhibiting impulsive decision making. And sometimes their decisions are erratic or reckless. Some of the things I did would have been considered reckless. Some of the things I still do might be considered reckless. Sleep habits change too. Either the person isn't sleeping as much, nearly as much, they suffer with insomnia of some sort, or they're sleeping a lot more. Now, if somebody's sleeping a lot more, it's because they have no flavor in life and they're bored. If they are suffering with insomnia, it's probably because all these things are going through their head. Their brain is working overtime to try and figure out these changes that are going on. Try and come out of the confusion. Another sign would be increased consumption of alcohol and drugs. Again, this is an attempt to feel something, to feel some sort of happiness or joy. Another thing that people in a midlife crisis tend to do is obsess, like constantly think about, maybe even obsess over the meaning of life or the meaninglessness of life. What is life all about? Like, is this it? Isn't there more? If there is more, where is it? What am I missing? And then person would also start questioning their religious beliefs. Like someone who has devoted their life to religion, suddenly it seems like a sham. Someone who wasn't really spiritual before, suddenly they're seeking a connection with a higher being. So spirituality tends to take a major shift, a significant one. You don't even recognize yourself. It's just like, you know, I don't even know who I am anymore. And that is not a fun feeling. In fact, most, if not all, of what I just covered is not fun. Not at all. It's very confusing. It can be very painful, sad. It's definitely a lonely place, especially if you don't know anybody else who's going through a midlife crisis or has gone through a midlife crisis that you can connect with, somebody else who could understand what it's like and not judge you for the things that are going on and the changes that are happening to you. It's not a choice. Ask yourself, why would a person who seemed to be happy in their life suddenly decide to change it? It's not a choice. A midlife crisis just happens to some people. And if you're a spouse and it hasn't happened to you, be grateful. I've been in my midlife crisis for 1.5 years. I have a lot of good days these days, an awful lot of good days. But as you can see, I still am riding that emotional roller coaster. I don't feel like, I don't regret any decisions I've made, any things that I've done. But I do get frustrated sometimes because I feel like I still haven't found enough happiness. Because I have found some. I feel like my emotions have started to inflate again because they felt so flat for so long. And I feel like they're starting to inflate again. It's not all the time, just sometimes. And it's really weird because it's been a while, and so when it happens and I'm feeling the emotions, I'm like, I just don't even know what to do with them. I don't know how to react to that or respond. Wow. like I gotta step outside of myself and observe this and try and figure out how to be with emotions, because I had to adjust how to live without feeling them. I knew they were there. I had the emotions. I just didn't really feel them. And then I had to figure out how to live like that. And now that they're starting to come back, and I'm grateful for it, I have to learn how to live having these feelings when they come around sometimes. Okay, so very long video. My apologies. That is a list of midlife crisis symptoms, midlife crisis signs. So if you had that question, am I having a midlife crisis? Is my spouse having a midlife crisis? Is my mother or father having a midlife crisis? If you had that question, hopefully this video will answer that for you. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for watching. Thank you to everybody who watches videos. My heart goes out to you if you are in a midlife crisis, and my heart goes out to you if you are a family member or spouse, child, sibling, friend of someone who's going through a midlife crisis. My heart goes out to you if this has ever touched you, because it rips up the world of the person who's going through the midlife crisis. It also rips up the world of their close loved ones around them too. But I just thought it was important that y'all know it's not a choice. We didn't choose it. Okay, so click like if you resonated with anything at all in this video. Click subscribe. I have a number of videos, midlife crisis thoughts. They might not be quite as lengthy. Pop anything you want in the comments section below. Whether you're a loved one or whether you're the person who's actually going through the midlife crisis, go ahead, feel free and share. Yeah, click subscribe, follow me along on this midlife crisis journey. Let's see if we survive.